from the Rec Gym, and we have Adebayo, the other end of the camera. We've had a couple of technical issues this morning, which is always the way, isn't it? We always have challenges. So hopefully Addy will be joining us shortly. So Addy's background is he's a TEQ media director, and I really wanted to have Addy on as a guest so that we could really talk about some of the challenges that he's experienced and also understand a little bit more about how he's really developed his confidence. And it looks as though at the moment that we have a black screen at the moment for Addy. So let's hope that we get him back. But in the meantime, I'm going to say good morning to all of you. So thank you so much for being here. And I guess whilst you're here, I guess it's important that I just consider actually how do we operate when it comes to fear, and how do we operate when it comes to being as confident as possible. And so I think, actually, Louise has just said if Addy is having any issues, maybe log out properly, check he's on Chrome and come back in. So Addy, if you can hear that, that would be great to do so. So I guess some of the challenges that I see and some of the challenges that I think lots of people struggle with when it comes to confidence is actually separating what I would see confidence works in three different areas. And I'd actually see that confidence kind of goes across a spectrum, I guess. And so I think in the first instance, if we think about confidence from an inner belief perspective, inner belief is, what does that voice say to you? What's your internal narrative? So the inner belief bit is the bit around how kind you are to yourself and how you speak to yourself on a day-to-day basis. So this piece about believing I can do it, this piece about considering, well, actually, regardless as to whatever the challenge might be, I will use a growth mindset and I will find my way forward in what sometimes feels like the wilderness, the unknown, the unpredictable. And the inner belief bit, whether or not we have inner belief, is something that I think can come in and come out depending upon what we're going through in our day-to-day lives. But the inner belief piece, other people might not know much about your own inner belief. And I think that the confidence piece is really the outward facing piece. So the confidence piece is the bit where we're considering how other people see us. And it's really what we want to show the world. There's Addy. Hi, Addy. How are you?
Hey everybody, sincere apologies, had some really terrible technical issues getting on board. Thanks for staying on.
No problem whatsoever. It's fabulous to see you. Thank you. So I was just talking there, Addy, about the difference between inner belief and about the outer self-confidence piece. And I was just going to finish the sentence by saying, and I think the outer self-confidence piece is what we allow people to see, right? There's a difference between inner belief and our voice and our internal narrative, and the outer piece that we allow people to see. And I guess let's do an intro, Addy, now you're here. So will you just tell everybody what you do? Because I think you've got thousands of followers, but we're really interested just to hear a bit more about you and what you do.
Oh, thank you very much. And first of all, thank you so much for having me on your platform today, Joe. It's really amazing to be able to share from, my inner belief here today. Hi, everybody. I'm Adebayo Onafuwa. I am the founder of a media startup called Tech Media. What we do really is to celebrate experts, leaders, and platforms. We help capture their value and amplify their expertise so that they can connect, collaborate, and co-create. Our mission is simple. We really want to inspire, we want to influence, and we want to create impact. So if you're out there doing anything amazing like Joe is doing, then we want to be part of that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I guess, Addy, I was really keen to have you on as a guest. You and I had connected on LinkedIn. We'd chatted at various times. And I can see that you've had a journey, right? I can see that. You've done plenty up to date. And I guess I was interested to know, really, when we think about confidence, what does confidence mean to you?
Yeah, that's a great question because confidence can have an overall definition, but it means different things to different people. For me, confidence is that inner belief. It's that place of trust, finding that sense of ownership in who I am, my capabilities, what I can do. Um, but at the same time, it's knowing that whatever journey I'm on, whoever I am with, however it's going, that I'll be okay. In the end, we'll get there.
So that piece around, I guess, um, that your internal narrative is, look, wherever I'm going, whatever the journey is, whoever's with me or isn't with me, I will get there, right?
Exactly.
And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and one of the tips was slowest is the fastest way to any destination. The slow is the quickest way to any destination. I thought, how interesting, particularly within our industry and particularly with the economy as it is at the moment, how interesting that actually less pace, more kind of consistency gets you to where you want to be. And I think what you've just said about mindset is really, really interesting there. Whoever I'm with, wherever I'm going, I'll be okay. Figure it out, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Like you said, you can choose to run fast and try to get there quickly, which is fantastic, but at the same time, you can use to just slow down and allow your thinking process, to guide your journey. And at the same time, you're appreciating your surroundings, you're learning from your daily experiences, and that continues to build you up and add value to who you are as a person and as a character.
I guess all those independent experiences all help to build you to who you are. As we learn about who we are, right? During the adult journey, we learn much more about who we are and what that really means. And I guess I'm interested to know, are there times along the way that you felt vulnerable? Are there times along the way that you've had vulnerability? Oh yeah, look at that reaction. Yes, Joe.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I think everybody can relate. The different points in my life that, I felt, oof, what am I doing? I can't do this. I don't have the capacity to do this. And sometimes it's not even necessarily, down to just me or to my, abilities. It might be external influences that makes me feel like so vulnerable. And I'll give an example. So, a lot of people that may have been following me on LinkedIn and seeing my recent posts will, know that I've just recently had an eye operation, and this is due to being, diagnosed as diabetic with glaucoma, and there are many stories along that. But during the pandemic, in the, COVID crisis, that was my lowest point in life. Um, I mean, I could no longer be me. I could no longer be the vibrant, positive, outgoing, engaging, out there person that I've always been. And when I received a letter from the NHS saying I was on, you know, the risk list, that scared me. That scared me not just because I realized that I'm black, I was overweight at that time, with my health conditions, I was really prone to catching coronavirus. But yes, I've always been someone that embraced life and always felt that, what, someday we will all pass on. So, enjoy life, live life to its fullest, share as much value as you can to other people. So a part of me was okay with the fact that if anything happened to me, I wouldn't necessarily have regrets. But then I realized that with my condition, if I caught coronavirus, I could then easily pass that to my family.
Mm.
And as a result, my family could die, and that would be, I felt like that was my responsibility, but it was out of my hands. And so every day I woke up, I didn't go out. Every day I stood by the window staring into emptiness, wondering when this phase will pass, and just being so extra concerned, not only for myself, but for my family. I was like, I mean, what if, my daughter, caught it and she couldn't handle it and she passed. Everything I've lived for so far suddenly could be taken away. And I just felt, oh my God, I'm helpless, I'm hopeless, you know, I'm just waiting for it to become my turn to catch it and just hope against the worst.
Wow, Addy, that is a story for sure. Goodness me. And I guess the fear around the what ifs was amplified for you thousands of times because
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah, because of all the different criteria. That is a really powerful story. And the image of you staring out the window and waiting for the phase to pass, I think is really powerful. And I wonder how often all of us remember just to think, this too will pass. This too will pass. Whatever the stress is, whatever the anxiety is, whatever the challenge is, that this too will pass. And I think that's a really powerful image, actually. I kind of had this image of you looking out the window with a family in a house full of people thinking, you know, just take some time, we'll get there. Um, and I guess that leads us really nicely before we close off. I'm interested to know what your mantra is, Addy. If you have one, what would be your mantra?
Well, there are quite a few, and I think you've said one of them. It's that reality that this too will pass. I have this saying used to encourage people. I say, no matter what you are going through, as long as you are going through, then be assured you will get through. So as long as, if there's a saying, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, but you've got to journey through that tunnel to get to the end in order to appreciate that light. So don't get stuck, don't give up, don't lose hope. There's so many things you can do. You can get help, you can get counsel, you can tune in, find inspiration. There's a book by Robert Schuller that has always been with me for many decades now, called Tough Times Don't Last, Tough People Do. And by tough people, it's not talking about you having, in my case, having to man up or having, to just throw yourself out there. No, it's having to find a source of inspiration, find a resolve. I really love what you're doing and how you, Joe, are helping women especially, to build that confidence, the guidance, the counsel, the leadership, the mentorship that you're providing. That's what people need. You need to find that safe space, someone to be able to talk to, someone to be able to open up to, someone you can say, I'm about to jump off the bridge. I need a hand to grab me right now. And once you do that, and just there's a lot of inspiration, motivation, uh, tools, items, quotes out there. Every day I receive into my inbox, motivational messages, that I click into, and most of them resonate with me and it just encourages me. But, if you've got nobody, then do this. This is what I do. I wake up in the morning, I look into the mirror and I say, Adebayo, you've got this. You can do this. No
Wow,
matter what, you will get through this.
wow,
And that self belief, that place of gene. And Steve Jobs says, connect the dots looking backwards. For me, that means think about past experiences that you've gone through that were challenging, that you never thought you would get out of, but you did. You're here today. So
yeah,
somehow, you got through it. So think about that and draw strength from that to say, hey, I've got this. I can do this. I can get through this, regardless of where I am, regardless of what I'm facing. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't have to be the end of me.
wow, Addy. On that note, we have run over for time, but there was no way I was going to stop you because you're absolutely inspiring. You are just warm with a depth that is amazing. And I just can't thank you enough for joining me today. I am going to go off of here thinking this too will pass. And I am so grateful for your time. Thank you so much for joining us. And for everybody else who's there, thank you so much.
Thank you
Have a
so
great
much.
day.
Apologies again.
No worries. Have
Bye.
a good day. Bye for now. Bye bye.